Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Flinger. I create beginner's guides and playthroughs of Ark Soloing Evolved. And now, in my attempts to always stay current on Ark's patch notes and stay up to date on what's to come, I sometimes find myself browsing into the darkened depths of the game's files and the latest dev kit updates. Most of the times, I don't see anything, and even though I'm looking, and I look, and I look, but I don't see anything, and I end up closing up the files and say to myself, someday, hopefully, maybe. Well, after the latest update, I was perusing through the files and I noticed something strange, something that hasn't been there before, and something that I feel that is very important that I tell you about. This line, it talks about Ovis. That's normal. But it also mentions something that could, quite frankly, be amazing. A super Ovis. Upon learning this, naturally, I just jumped right into the game. I mean, somebody had to have put it there, and I needed to figure out who. I mean, I didn't understand what the code meant at the time, but it was something great. It was something massive. It was something game-changing. Anything with the title Super in Ark would be absolutely amazing. So I needed to find out what it was. I needed to find out what made this Ovis so super. The Ark devs have always done some very confusing things. They've left things, uncertain. They've discussed things that could happen, that couldn't happen. And with an Ovis, I mean, what is an Ovis? It's a sheep. It's a mountain sheep. And so setting myself to find out what the secrets inside this little sheep's head could hold, it confused me. And I've been doing this for days, hours, minutes at least. And I just couldn't figure it out. Is there something in the nostrils, the eyes? And then I realized it said magenta super Ovis. Magenta. Armed with this new knowledge, I set about finding a new sheep because Billy Bob, I just couldn't see myself doing anything with Billy Bob. But with this new orange sheep, we would set about unlocking the secrets of this sheep, because the secrets of the sheep, there was something in there. There was something that I just couldn't find. So magenta, we went with exactly what the code said. Magenta, Ovis, and we painted it. We painted it completely and thoroughly, but when I was done, it wasn't enough. Nothing had happened. And then I remembered the end code, 1man00B. Where would that go? Would it go in the tagline, in the tab line? Would it go in the chat bar? Would it just go in the ini files? I didn't know. Immediately, I rushed back to the files, and they had changed. They had changed drastically. Somebody was leading me to this. Somebody had given me a hint, a clue, something to go off of. Now, I knew that you could not open up chat bar on solo game, but I was wondering, was it account wide? Was it account bound? Was that what did it? So immediately I logged on to my subscriber server and I entered the code. And upon doing that, something magical happened. Something amazing. But I didn't notice it first because after entering the code, nothing had changed. The platforms were the same. Foo was the same. Wicked Dodo was the same. Even Bob the Builder Beaver was the same. But something had changed. I knew something had changed. So I stepped back on my logout foundation so I wouldn't fall through the ground. And I went back to my solo game to figure out what had changed. What exactly had changed? I needed to know. And upon logging in, my tree Rexes and my Allosaurus gave a triumphant roar, and I had noticed the name had changed of my Ovis.
These go to 11.
Immediately, I set out on my journey on my woolly Avenger to see just how far 11 really would take it. Because I knew it would take it far, but I had to try it. And the first victim was a parasaur. Could it take a parasaur? It could take a parasaur, and it took it easily with one shot. And then with that knowledge in mind, I set about to the next available target. What would it take? Could it take on a mighty trike and survive? It could, easily. And it could even show me different new exciting ways of flinging a trike. And then I set about to conquer the one thing that I knew was more formidable than most dinosaurs could conquer. We set our sights on the mosh pit. Could my woolly avenger dominate where others have failed? We had to find out. I had to show these cats and ankylos that wolves just weren't for making sweaters anymore. I could annihilate them. I could easily handle them. I could trounce them. I could eat them. And even the Argentavises fell like dominoes in my wake. Much like those before us, everything fell in our pearly pink ovine path of vengeance. Nothing could stop us. Nothing. The sky was our oyster. And with this, I realized we had also gained certain superpowers. Oh my god! Oh! Now, armed with our most ultimate life form, we set out across the island to see what we could take, what we could handle, what could we dominate. And the Brontos. We had to try the Brontos. We had to try the Rexes. We had to try the Therizzinosauruses. And we had to catch up to their ankles. But once we were able to catch up and hit them, the Therizzinosauruses fell. The T-Rexes fell, flung in wonderful ways. And the Brontos, yes, even the mighty Bronto was flung. We had found the ultimate life form, the ultimate dinosaur, the ultimate flinger. And then in the distance, I saw one of our greatest challenges. What could we make it? We had to find out. So eagerly, we frolicked our way there. And then on the side of the volcano, as I was rising up, I realized that I was no longer riding just a sheep. I was no longer riding just a pink ball of fun. I was riding the biggest pink ball of woolly fury that anybody had ever seen, and we were going to dominate this island. No one could stop us. But there was still one challenge that we had to overcome. One dinosaur that was the apex predator. And we had to prove that our ovine fury, our pink vengeance, could overtake it. We had to discover who was the apex alpha. Was it us or the mighty Giga?
In their tongue, he is Dovahkiin, Dragonborn.
It was clearly us. And so in the end, we knew that the island was ours. Nothing could challenge our reign. Nothing could rise up to fight against us. Nothing could challenge our reign of terror. So I leave you, fellow traveler, with the knowledge, knowing that you too can conquer the island with just the power of pink. Because it goes to 11, and have a good day, survivor.